Hello everyone, this is the second part of the Spring Security videos. In this video, we will add create user functionality to our project, and then we will create users from the UI. Then we save the users to PostgreSQL. Then we use saved users for authentication. Then let's get started. I open the project, then I will go to templates folder inside the resources. Then I will add one HTML file for the user creation. We will create users from this page. If you are following this project, I will leave the link below at the description. You can download the source code from my GitHub. As you know, the login.html file has some CSS and JS files inside the static folder, and the signup.html file also has CSS and JS files. So I combined all the CSS and JS files. Then let's replace these two. First, delete these are. Then replace with the combined CSS and JS files. The CSS and JS files are added. The sign up page is ready. Then go to controller class and create one controller class for this view. Let's say user controller. Let's annotate the class with controller annotation. Let's also put request mapping annotation. Give the endpoint user here. Then create one get mapping for the endpoint create. Then let's public string, let's say user create. Then simply return the view name. We can write the HTML file name here, signup.html. We have view and we have controller map class. If I start the application, then with localhost 8080/user/create, I will not see the sign up page because every endpoint is secured in our project. So I will go to config package, then go to security config, and then modify the security filter chain. Let's copy this part, then paste it, then say user/create. Permit all users can see this page. Now start the application. The application up and running. Go to browser, then visit localhost slash user slash create. I get the user create page. If I click here, I can go to login page. From the login page to jump the sign up page, I will remove this remember me part because we don't need this. Then I will give the link to the sign up page here. Then go to login page and scroll down and then remove this part, remember me part. Then copy this one, then paste it here. Say sign up here. Redirect the sign up page here. href, let's say assign slash user slash create. Then start application. Go to browser, Then refresh. The sign up link came here. Let's click it. We can also get the sign up page. Let's go to login page. Let's indent sign up to left. Go to here. Then text mid right is a left here. Restart one time. Refresh. The link has been deleted. Then go to sign up. Go to login. Now everything is ready. To create user from this sign up page, we need to modify our HTML files and controller class. Let's go to IntelliJ. Let's close all of this. Then go to user controller. To create user, let's create user class. Go to demo package, then right click and Java class a entity dot user. Create one entity package, then create user class. To create entity class, we need to add dependency to our project. Let's add the dependency. Go to Spring Initializer, then add dependency, then search JPA, Spring Data JPA, then explore, choose POM, then copy this part, then go to project POM file, then paste it here, then refresh. Go to user class, then put the entity annotation here. It came from Jakarta persistence. Then let's write the user's class field here. Private long ID. Let's annotate the ID with ID annotation. Then I will generate the ID automatically. So let's put generated value annotation. Then give the strategy. Generation type identity. Then private string first name. Duplicate this one. Then last name. This one. Username. We will use email address for username. Then the password. Then let's change the table name. Let's put table annotation. Then give the name. Let's say users. Let's close this one and close these two and go to demo package and create DTO class. Let's say DTO dot say user DTO. Then go to user class and copy all of this and go to this class, paste it here. We don't need ID for the user creation, so delete this one and delete these other two. Then add one more field for the user creation. In here we have confirm password field, so copy this one and confirm password. Let's also create a mapper class. Go to demo package, then new class. Let's say mapper dot user mapper. We use this mapper class to convert to DT object to entity object and entity object to DT object. To create mapper class, we need one model mapper. So I will add one model mapper dependency to our project. Then I will create converter from that class. Open pom.xml file. Then let's paste the dependency here. Let's also put the lombok dependency. Then refresh. Then go to security web config class. Then add one model mapper bin. Let's say public model mapper. Model mapper can simply return new model mapper. Then go to user mapper. Then first inject the model mapper. Private final model mapper. Model mapper. Let's import the class. Then inject with required or constructor. Then create converter methods. Public return type user. Then convert to entity. It takes user DTO object as a parameter. Let's say user DTO. Then return model mapper dot map user DTO dot then class type here user dot class. Let's duplicate this one. Let's say convert to DTO this time. And it takes user object. Let's say user, also user here, and here also user. There's user DTO class. Return type is DTO. Let's put user here. The converter is ready. Then let's create repository. Go to demo package and class it to the interface. Let's create user repository. It extends JPA repository. It is a generic class. Let's say user. Then we use email as a username. So say string here. Let's annotate the class with repository. The repository class is also ready. Then let's create service dot user service. It should be an interface. Let's create one method for user creation. User DTO as a return type. Then create user. It takes user DTO as a parameter user detail. Let's create the implementation class. Right click and create package impl, then user service impl. Then let's annotate the class with service annotation. Then implement the user service. Let's implement the method, inject the repository, private final user repository. Let's say repository, and put the required arc constructor for injection. Then to save user to the database, we need to first convert the user detail object to user entity object. So let's inject the mapper here, private final user mapper. Let's say mapper. Then first convert the detail to entity. User, let's say user to save equal to mapper dot convert to entity. Let's put the user detail here. Let's import the class. Then repository dot save. Let's put the user here. After save the user, we should return the user detail. So for doing that, we can convert this saved user to detail. So user, let's say saved user equal to repository.save user to save. This method return the user, saved user, then return mapper dot convert to detail. Let's say saved user. Now everything is ready. We have view, we have controller, we have mapper, we have repository services, and detail and entity classes. How we can create users? First, we send one empty user detail object to the view from the controller. Then from the UI, we fill out the first name, last name, and username, password. Then we click the sign up button. Then the object will send to the controller. Then inside the controller, we call services. Services call this create user method. Then convert the user detail object to the entity object. Then save the entity object to the database. So go to user controller. Then to send the empty user object to UI, we need model object. Model, let's say model. Let's import the class. This class should came Spring Framework UI. Then model dot add attribute. Let's say user, new user detail. Now if we visit localhost 8080/user/create, then this method will invoke. It will send one empty user detail object with the attribute name user to the sign up page. To receive the user detail object, let's modify the sign up page. Go to sign up page. Let's close this one. In here, let's add th object.
We write the attribute name here, which is came from controller class. Then for the first name, let's add field name here, th field, then first name. It doesn't recognize the first name field because we didn't add getter and setter to the user detail object. So go to user detail class. Let's add getter and also setter and also nowhere constructor. Go to sign up page, close this one. We also use wrong syntax here. Let's change it. $, curly braces, user here. Then th field, curly braces, first name. Then copy this one, paste here, last name, and then for the email, username, then for the password, use password, for the password confirmation, use confirm password. That's all for connection. We connect the controller method with the sign up page. The controller method sends one empty user detail object to the form. Then user fill out the form and then click the sign up button. Then the information will send to the user create endpoint with the method type post. To receive the user information and save it to database, we need to create one controller method with post mapping. So go to user controller, then copy this one, then paste here. Let's say user save here. User save endpoint is can be the same. Then here post mapping. To receive the user object from the UI, we use model attribute here. The attribute name should be the same as the UI. Let's say user here. It should be user detail object. Remove this line. To save user detail object to the database, we need user service. So let's inject the user service first. Private final user service. Let's say user service. Then put the required constructor for injection. Then user service dot create user. Then put the parameter user detail. Then after save the user, I will redirect the user to the login page. Let's write redirect colon slash login. Now everything is ready without database. We send one empty user detail object to sign up page. Then after the user fill out the form, it sends back user information to our post mapping endpoint. Then we save the user detail object to the database and redirect the user to the login page. Now let's connect the database to our project. If you didn't install the PostgreSQL and pgadmin, first download the PostgreSQL and pgadmin and then install it. Then open the pgadmin.
Go to services, Then enter the password you set when you install the PostgreSQL. Let's create one database to our project. Go to databases, then create database, and give the name security demo. Then let's save. Security demo database has created. Then create one user for this database. Right click the login group and the roles. Create. Then let's say security user. Then go to definition and set the password abc1. Then go to privileges. Then give all permission to this user. Then save. The user and the database has created. Let's connect the database to our project. To connect PostgreSQL to our project, we need PostgreSQL driver dependency. So first add the PostgreSQL dependency to our POM file. Open the POM file, then paste the dependency here. PostgreSQL dependency. Refresh. You can find this dependency from Spring Initializer. Go to Spring Initializer, add dependency, then search PostgreSQL driver. You can explore, then copy from here and paste it to your project. Let's close this one. Let's add the database configuration. Go to application.properties file. Then let's rename it application.yaml file. You can continue with the properties file also. I will use YAML file. Let's add the configuration. Spring, then data source, then URL, JDBC, Postgres, then colon / localhost, then default port is 5432, then slash. Here we write the database name, in my case security demo, then username security user, then the password of the user abc1. That's all for the database configuration. We define the URL, username, and the password. Let's put the GPA configuration to see the query in our console. GPA show SQL true. This configuration print the query in our console. Then Hibernate, then DDL auto create here. By this configuration, Hibernate drop all the tables in the database, then create new tables. And let's also put property, then Hibernate, then format SQL true. By this configuration, we can see the query in the formatted way in our console. The configurations are done. Let's test the connection of the database. Start application. I got an error. There is something wrong in our configuration. Let's see. Perhaps I made a typo. Here should be URL. Let's restart again. I got an error again. Let's see. I forgot to put the add component annotation top of the user mapper class. Let's put the annotation. Go to user mapper, then put the add component annotation top of it. Then restart again. Okay, this time the users table has created. Let's check. Go to pgadmin, then go to database, security demo, then schema, then public, go to tables, then right click on the user, then view all rows. The users table was created. Let's try to create user from the UI. Go to browser, refresh, then let's create a user, first name, last name, the email, and the password 123 123. Sign up. Let's check the console. Insert into users first name, last name, password, username. It seems to be user has created. Let's check it from the database. Go to users, then rerun. Yes, the user has created and stored in the database. Let's close all of this, and let's close this one also. Now everything is so good so far. We create the user from the UI and store it to the database, and how we can use the stored user for the authentication. To use the stored user for authentication, only thing we need to do is create one user details service. Then inside the user details service, use the stored user for authentication. Then let's create the user details service. Go to service package, then create one service class. Let's say security service. This service should be implement user details service, and then we need to implement its method load by username. It returns user details. As you know, the authentication provider uses this class for authentication. It sends the username to the load by user method. If there is a matching user, it returns the user details. If it couldn't find the matching user, then it threw user not found exception. Based on the result, it processed the authentication. Let's delete this one. Then inject the user repository, private final user repository. Let's say user repository. Then put the annotation here, required arg constructor. Then let's also put the service annotation. let's close this one. Then user, let's say found user equal to user repository find by username. Let's pass the parameter username, then import the class. This class should be our user entity class, and let's also create the find by username method. It automatically created with the driver query. Go to security service, then say if found user equal to null, then through new username not found exception, let's put username for the message. If the user is exist, let's return. Here we should return user details. We need to create user details from our user entity class. So let's say custom user details. Let's put found user here. We don't have custom user details, so we need to create this class. Copy this one, then go to DTO class, then create one class, name it custom user details service. This class should implement user details. Then let's implement its classes. Let's put user field here, private final user. This user should be came from our entity user class. Let's add the constructor and also customize the getter and setter methods. Get authorities, we don't need authorities now, so return null, it's okay. Then get password, return user dot get password. And for the username, say user dot get username is account non-expired true, then is account non-locked true, is credential non-expired true, then is enable true. Go to security service, import the class, custom user details service. Let's put new here. Now the user details service is done. We don't need the in-memory user details service anymore. So go to config package, then go to security config, select all of this, then comment. Let's try to log in with the created user. Restart application. The application up and running. Go to browser, refresh, then go to sign up, then create user. 1 2 3 1 2 3. Let's copy the username, then sign up, paste the username, password 1 2 3, login. I couldn't log in with the created user. There is something wrong. Let's see the console. Encoded password. We forget to encode the password. So go to user service implementation and say user to save dot set password, then password encoder. Let's inject the password encoder first. Private final password encoder, let's say encoder, then encoder dot encode, let's say user to save dot get password. Now before save the user to the database, we encode its password. And let's try. Go to browser, then refresh, then go to sign up, then say 123 123, then sign up. Then let's use the created one, 123, the login. There is something wrong. Let's see. We need to configure success URL. Go to security config, default success URL. We need to pass one parameter here. It's true. The always use the home.html as a default success URL. Let's restart. Then let's refresh. Let's sign up. Let's use this one, copy this one. 123 123. Okay, let's use this one. Then 123 login. Yes, this time I can use the created user for the authentication. That's all for this video. In the next video we will add OAuth social login functionality to our project. Then see you all in the next video.